All right, so next up is somebody who I met about 3 years ago. I was doing a Zoom call, and this girl, she came on. There was like 40 people there, and she kept asking all these questions. She wasn't letting anybody ask questions. She would just hit me over the head. What about this? How do I sell this book? How do I do this? And I was thinking to myself, this girl is hungry. This girl is different. Well, that was Amanda Ballard, and she ended up growing her Amazon business to doing $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. She ended up pivoting and finding her own way. She's now selling close to 6 figures on Walmart, and she's one of the best people I know, good friend, works her butt off, and just super excited to have her here. So Amanda, come on up.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you so much, Steve, for that introduction. You and I do go way back, so I am relentless. I will ask a million questions. So, but thank you for having me here. Thank you, Steve, Avery, Joji, Victor. I am just super excited to be here because I love talking all things Walmart. My name is Amanda Ballard, and I'm going to be talking about all things Walmart and how you guys can win on Walmart. And I recently just moved to Seattle, Washington, where my amazing husband is a software developer for Amazon. So I sell on Amazon, he works for Amazon, it's an Amazon family apparently. And then I have 2 little dogs, the other picture didn't show up, but 2 little dogs, and that is kind of our life right now. Before I get into Walmart and kind of how I got there, I just kind of wanted to share my journey with Amazon and Walmart so far. I did all the things like we all do. We carry all those heavy books. We go to the thrift stores. We send them in all to FBA. My story really isn't any different from you guys. Simply because when you start with books, you see a profit and you see it very quickly. Then I became obsessed, just like we all have, So I did all the wonderful things. I went to Scout IQ Summit. There's a lot of these gentlemen in the room today. And then I went to Miami Sellers Conference, which that is Reezy right there presenting. And I just think that it's so good to be back a couple years later. I was doing thrifting still, all of that with a full-time job, which I actually just quit last week. So now it is full reselling. So I started in August of 2022. Then I added eBay to Amazon into my Amazon business. And then 2023 came around, and that was such a good year for me. I got a prep center, so I was no longer prepping eBay to Amazon. I hired virtual assistants where they were sourcing for me. They were doing all of my admin tasks, and I attended all the conferences I could, and I was still, maintaining that 30% ROI. So 2023 was, the systems, getting everything into place. And to be honest, I got kind of like, what am I doing now? I'm not sourcing, I'm not prepping. And so then I went to Miami Sellers Conference in 2024, where people were whispering about Walmart. They weren't really out loud talking about it. They were kind of hush about it, like, yeah, I'm making money. You should try it, And then I went home, went on YouTube. No one was talking about Walmart. So I knew I had something. I had my new obsession. I had my new thing that I was going to do. I went home. I was like, let's try it. I did things seller fulfilled at first, and I had my first sale February 1st. It was like a shampoo, and it sold the next day, and I was like, this is amazing. I bought it at grocery outlet for $2, and I sold it for $17. Like, okay, like someone was, knew what they were talking about. So then I guess I became obsessed again. My seller fulfilled, which is the equivalent of FBM. I was doing seller fulfilled with cat food, dog food, health and beauty. I was doing it all that I could find. And I noticed that there were lower fees, which I'll go into the fees a little bit later. And there's a lot less competition on Walmart, especially since no one was talking about it. There weren't any YouTube videos. So my items sold pretty quickly, and this was 2024, things were going really well. I had 2 stores going really well. I was doing Walmart, and then my Amazon was doing really well. So I had them both going until Section 3, the one we all dread. We never want that. They hold your accounts, they hold your money, they hold your inventory. You can't send anything in. I had a ton of stuff at Little Owl. I'm like, sorry, Frank, you got to hold it for a little while. And I was devastated, obviously. But because my Amazon was down, I had Walmart. They could financially save me. I could still have I still had money coming in. I could still pay my VAs their wage. Even though they couldn't spend any, they could still get paid. And I was determined to keep going because Amazon wasn't going to like kick me down. I was going to keep going. This wasn't going to be the end all be all for me. I did get my account back. I'm super lucky with that. That is not the case for everybody when they get a Section 3. So I am very grateful that I'm able to have it still. If I didn't have Walmart, I don't know if I'd be reselling because I was so bummed about losing my Amazon account. You work so hard for so long and it gets taken away with an email. And it's so funny because I got the email when I was with my dad and my husband. We're going to the dump. And I'm like, my whole world is in shambles. And here my dad and my husband are like chit-chatting in the front. But, I'm so glad that I am still here and reselling. Just a couple things to know before getting started on Walmart. You have to have an LLC. You can't be a sole prop like you can on Amazon. And if you do open an LLC, be sure to wait 30 days before you apply for Walmart because of like the systems. They kind of need to be able to communicate. And so you definitely need an LLC because they want established people selling on Walmart. Walmart is glitchy. Walmart has a lot of issues and they don't want someone who doesn't know the ins and outs of reselling. They need somebody who's more intermediate. You can have an Amazon account, Shopify, Etsy, eBay, so it can be a different storefront. They're just looking for people who have reviews, who have active products, and people who are in the reselling world. And when you first apply, you probably will get denied. That is very common. It's incredibly frustrating. We brought that up at the Walmart Seller Summit, and it's like, why deny people? Because all they require is an extra form. It's an SSR form, it's a tax form. They just need that. So if you get denied, reply to it, say why, and then they're like, oh, you just need this document. You uploaded it, and then you get approved. Tedious, annoying, but they make you fight for it. And then be adaptable with Walmart. It's ever changing. Things are never the same from one day to another, but that's, for me, what makes it exciting and why I love it. There are a ton of benefits to selling on Walmart. Lower fees, and I'm going to go more into that, but lower competition as well, especially with the recent things that have been happening on Walmart. There are about 200,000 active sellers on Walmart, as compared to Amazon is 1.2 million. So the competition is very low, and Walmart has millions upon millions of products to sell. So when you're only competing against 200,000 people, the money's there, And of course, it's expanding your e-commerce business. It's, not being stuck in one platform. You always want to expand because you never know which platform could go down. You want to have both. And then there's also Seller Fulfilled, which is the equivalent of FBM, and then Walmart Fulfillment Services, which is WFS, which is the FBA version of Walmart. And it's basically the same thing. The shipping templates are the same for Seller Fulfilled, and then WFS is pretty much the same thing when it comes to FBA. Little nuances different, but overall the same. Before I go into how much more amazing Walmart is, has anyone heard about the recent chaos that Walmart has done? Yeah, a little bit. Okay, I'll kind of remind and unfortunately talk about it. But the health and beauty restriction. So what happened is overnight they restricted health and beauty. So no matter what you sold, how you sold it, you were restricted. This caused a lot of issues because your accounts would error out. You had no time to sell your items. They didn't even give you a heads up. Sorry. Some people unfortunately lost their livelihoods because that's all that they sold. And especially if you had them into WFS, you then had to pay for removal orders. And if you had a certain percentage of health and beauty and they all errored out in your account, you got suspended for having too many errors, but they caused the errors. And so luckily everyone who got their account suspended got them back, which is a tedious process anyway. So, so that's just kind of one story where Walmart's not super friendly. So it was a chaos, and we probably will not get health and beauty back. It's probably going to be a thing that we just don't sell. And I have my own conspiracy theories on to why, but as of right now, we won't be able to sell health and beauty. And that happened in July. And then in September, we got hit with these new categories that we can't sell either. Toys, which I'm going to go a little bit into the toys. So this also happened on Amazon, where you require the CPC certifications and the safety testing. Well, some companies, like Crayola, don't do safety testing. I don't know why. I don't feel like they think they need to, but Walmart requires it. So how are we to provide a document that doesn't exist? And so it's kind of crazy, but they told us September 25th was the last day to sell through our toys. But as of right now, all my toys are still active. So I don't know what's going on with that one. And then pets, this only applies to ingestible pets. So that's dog food, dog treats. So things like toys, leashes, beds, those are still good to sell. And then baby formula, I guess it's the ingestibles as well with that. And then also food supplements like protein bars, those Quest, any OTC supplements and stuff like that. Yeah, so these are all restricted. Unfortunately, you can apply to get them approved, but that's typically pretty hard to do. And does this scare me as a seller? Yes, in a way, but I also see it as more opportunity because so many people just quit. And when more people quit, that gives me an opportunity, unfortunately. And will this stop me from selling? No, I'm just gonna keep going. And I've now listed all things we can't sell, but what can we sell, We can sell grocery. Now Q4 is here. Grocery does really well on Walmart. Candies, chocolates, all those seller-fulfilled items do really well on Walmart. Then there's camping gear like tents and anything outdoors or hunting equipment do really, really well. Then there's automotive, the category. I sold windshield wiper blades and then automotive, the mats that go in your car. And then there's home and kitchen where it's a lot of air fryers or spatulas. There's so many opportunities. And then of course, arts and crafts, it could be, the stickers and all that stuff. So what are my sourcing methods? My favorite sourcing method is Walmart to Walmart. It's where I go into the Walmart, I take the clearance items for like $3 and then resell it for like $20, $21. That's my favorite method. Really, it's the best for me. I also do a lot of Amazon to Walmart. I take advantage of the Keepa deals or the lightning deals, especially if like a brand is having a sale and it's only 60% fulfilled. I then go and buy the remaining 40%. So then it's fulfilled and then that price goes way back up to normal price. And then I sell it on Walmart for the normal price. And so I kind of take advantage of that. And then I do traditional online, which is from, Menards, Kohl's. I do a lot of Macy's as well and Boscov's. It's kind of, these are the main stores that I kind of source from. And then there's also the traditional RA that's not Walmart. I like to do Ross, TJ Maxx, Grocery Outlet. And then I know that Ollie's and Aldi's are really good. I don't have them near me, but I do know those are great RA sources for Walmart. So how do we know what sells? We don't have Keepa. I don't think we'll ever have anything that's like Keepa. Walmart wants to keep their data pretty close to them. So in the form of badges, product reviews, and sellers on listings. So we'll kind of go into each one real quick. So the bestseller badge, this is a item that sells really well in that category. This has like top performing, always sells well. It typically has a bestseller badge because it's been a good item for a longer period of time. If you go through each department, let's say I pulled up sports right here, you can just see across all the best sellers. And then if you click on the listing itself, it also will have a bestseller badge. And then a popular pick. So a bestseller is one that's been performing well over a certain amount of time. Popular pick is it's trending right now. It could be a bestseller, but it may not be. It's trending, it's probably on sale, and it's probably a K-pop, the Demon Hunter thing, it's really hot right now. So all those items are popular pick because all the people are, wanting that. And again, it'll say popular pick, and then see it's 100 plus since bought yesterday. Because it's been bought since yesterday, it makes that a popular pick. And then this one has over 1,100 reviews. And then also another badge is bought since yesterday, but it's like different verbiage on different items. It's like 50 in people's carts, 100 bought since yesterday. So this indicates that this item is selling online. It's not selling well in stores, but it's selling well online, which is perfect for us e-commerce because we don't care if it sells in store. We want to know if it sells online. So this is one of my favorite badges to really look for to know that it's selling. And then positive reviews. You got to make sure why there's no positive reviews. Like this top one, it was like a cooking set and it has 1 rating, 1 star, and it said the pot's bent first time cooking. So be sure and look at the ratings. And then, but also kind of use a little common sense. Like these newborn infant Marvel socks, I have no reviews, but I bet this sells like hotcakes. One, because it's Marvel. People love Marvel. And cute infant socks, I mean, but also like who's gonna write a review on infant socks? No one. No one's gonna write a review on kids' underwear or a gift that they're giving to someone. So yeah, so I will buy items that have no reviews if they're like hot trending items like that. And then also if it has no reviews, make sure that it's not a double listing. That's very common in Walmart. You can create your own listing. Chances are this one is Walmart's listing and someone wants to sell it, but for some reason don't want to jump on this listing. So they created their own, and then always jump on the one where it has reviews. Even though this one has no reviews, I would not jump on it. And you can kind of see the picture's kind of wonky, and because you can create your own listings on Walmart. So that's also something to really look for. And then sellers on the listing. So this is how we're going to see if we're gated or restricted or we're able to sell the item. So if there's no sellers on the listing, it's just Walmart. The first brand I picked up here is Pioneer Woman. Pioneer Woman is a Walmart brand only, so they can only sell it. So that's why Walmart's the only one on the listing. And then this one right here where it's all seller fulfilled and Walmart, you can sell this, but it's seller fulfilled only. This one was a fertilizer, so it's a hazmat. So that's something to also be careful for and watch for when you're sourcing. So what you're really looking for is items like this, where it's WFS, not Walmart, and then FBM, or seller fulfilled. As you guys can see, this was the most popular listing I pulled up. Like, this is how all listings are. There's not 30 people on the listing. There's 5 or 7, So that's why you can see that there's no competition on Walmart. Okay, so now let's talk about the buy box and how that is with Walmart, because it's obviously very different on Amazon. So the buy box is regional, a lot like Amazon is. Number one reason is price. Walmart wants to be the lowest everywhere they are, so price will always be everything else. Second is shipping. How fast can it get to the customer? And then third is a pro seller badge. This is kind of like a pro seller badge is something you earn as a seller. I've heard it helps the buy box. I've also heard it doesn't help the buy box. So, and Walmart doesn't tell us one way or another. So, so this is the pro seller badge. I'm not meeting it because it's hard. So the first is like, I'm meeting all of these because I'm WFS. If I'm WFS, you're pretty much guaranteed in it. The only thing I don't meet is price competitiveness. Since I buy a lot from Amazon, it'll take Amazon's old data and say, well, you purchased it for $9 because it was $9 in August. And yeah, now it's 32, but it was 9. So it's kind of counting against me. If you do a lot of retail arbitrage, that one will be met. But again, it's not something that's like super crucial to my business. I don't necessarily care for it. So, all right. So let's talk about the fees on Walmart. First off, it's like the 15% referral fee, just like Amazon. It's just to be on the platform, just to sell. If you do decide to do WFS, which is FBA, it starts at $345 and then kind of goes up from there based off of weight. But what I'm going to start doing is looking at customer favorites. Now, this is something that Walmart wants you to sell. They tell you they have a list of like 20,000 items that customers are looking for, but they can't get, that they can't find. So they want you to find them. So if you find them and sell them, you don't pay anything for those. And it's exciting because they tell you what those items are. You just got to go find them. And then there's no monthly fee like Amazon has. Amazon has that $39 fee. Walmart doesn't do that, which is kind of nice. And they're always doing holidays or certain specials where you don't have any fees on certain items or categories. So you do save money when you kind of take advantage of those. So next I'm going to share some recent flips that I've done just to kind of motivate you guys and kind of show you it is possible. So this little coffee maker made me a ton of money. I scoured all of Washington State to go find these. I was buying them for $30 and selling them for $107. A seller fulfilled all day, every day. I made $32 profit on each one. And I couldn't find any more, which I was kind of bummed about, but this one was a great flip. This one went on sale, and I just took advantage of that. And then this one was my first Amazon to Walmart little golden nugget. This is, I mean, it's a weird product, right? There's a lot of products we sell that we have no idea what they are, or what they do, whatever. But I bought it for $9.99 and I sold it for $24.99. And the best thing was this item from Amazon was a UPC match on Walmart. And so what that means is I didn't have to put an FU SKU on the thing. So if it matches, you don't label the item. And so I would literally open the box and I would count. I'm like, okay, I have 30, and it stays in those boxes. I don't have to touch it anymore and then send it straight back to WFS. There was no work. I've already done the pre-work, and it was amazing. And I did that over 120 times until someone else found out, and then I got, tanked out. But this one was my first product that showed me that Amazon to Walmart does work. And this was a lightning deal at the time. And I think now it's steady at $9.99 on Walmart or on Amazon. And this is another Walmart to Walmart flip. This is when I go into the store. I bought this cute little onesie set for $3, sold it for $16.99. I just wish I bought them all. I didn't buy them all at that time because I was just testing it out. But I made $6 on each. And no one's returning this. Like baby clothes, I love selling baby clothes because no one returns them. They'll either give it to somebody else or the baby will grow into them. So that's also why I love selling baby clothes, but I only sell the brand Carter's. Wonder Nation, Grammys, or Grammables are restricted. So I don't waste my time with anything else. I only sell Carter's. And then this is another Ross to Walmart. I love, going to Ross. They have great sales. I bought this guy for $4.99 and sold it for $23. And it sold all in like a day. So that was really, really nice. But as I'd like to end, I kind of want to end with a challenge. I want you guys to please apply to be on Walmart. And when you get approved, just list 10 items. Just test to see how it goes. Get comfortable with it. And make your first sale. And please do send me a message. This is me on Instagram, also on YouTube. You can send me a message on Instagram. I would love to hear if you guys got approved or if you're selling or if you're having a hard time getting approved. I'd love to hear it. But yeah, that is it for me.
Thank you so much, Amanda. We can give Amanda a round of applause. Thank you so much.